students. So welcome back to our class. This is your teacher, Miss Cabs. And yes, how are you? Of course, here we are again for our new exciting episode of our science class in Science 8. So we are now on our week 2, quarter 2. And as of today, this is a continuation of our discussion last time about earthquakes and faults. But of course, before we proceed to our lesson, if you are new to this channel, so don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more updates in our science class. And today's objective, based on our most essential learning competencies, are differentiate epicenter of an earthquake from its focus. Second, differentiate intensity of an earthquake from its magnitude. And C, active and inactive faults. So you are going to differentiate the epicenter from focus, the intensity from magnitude, and the active and the inactive faults. So try to take a look at this video and kindly observe. So what do you think is happening? Yes, the building is shaking, and as you can see, the lights on the ceiling are swaying, and there are some people who are panicking. So last meeting we had discussed on how earthquakes was generated and what are the factors that causes this trembling. So we already know that when an earthquake strikes, the seismic waves are formed and travel within the Earth's interior up to the Earth's crust. So it creates damages or destructions depending on the release of the energy. Next. But where is the starting point of an earthquake? And what are the terms we should remember to fully understand this lesson? So at the end of this lesson, those are some of the questions that you are going to answer. So, but before we proceed to our lesson, we will have our review first. So you can write your answer in a piece of paper and don't forget to write it in our comment box later. Yeah. Yes. You are going to write your answer on our comment box. Okay? So, are you ready? Yes, you are going to choose your answer from A to F. Honesty is the best policy. Okay, number 1 question. These are layers of rocks and soil that are constantly moving due to extreme heat and pressure. These are layers of rocks and soil that are constantly moving due to extreme heat and pressure. Okay, number 2. It refers to the cracks or breaks on the ground formed during tectonic plates motion. It refers to the cracks or breaks on the ground formed during tectonic plates motion. Number 3, it is a type of wave that travels in the surface of the earth. It is a type of wave that travels in the surface of the earth. Number 4, it causes tectonic plates to move. It causes tectonic plates to move. Number 5 refers to the trembling or shaking of the Earth's surface. Refers to the trembling or shaking of the Earth's surface. So here are the choices, guys. So we have A, faults, B, body wave, C, tectonic plates, D, surface waves, E, extreme heat, and F is earthquake. Okay, so are you through? So let's check your answer. Number 1. These layers of rocks and soil that are constantly moving due to extreme heat and pressure. What's your answer? Yes, correct. That is tectonic plates. Number 2. It refers to the cracks or breaks on the ground formed during tectonic plates motion. What do you think is the correct answer? Very good. That is a fault. So, as you could remember, faults are, yes, a fracture or zone of fractures between two blocks of rock. Number 3. It is a type of wave that travels in the surface of the earth. Yes, that is surface waves. Do you still remember what are the two types of surface waves? Yes, the Rayleigh and the Love waves. Number 4. It causes tectonic plates to move. What's the answer? Yes, of course, the extreme heat. Number 5 refers to the trembling or shaking of the Earth's surface. That is, yes, earthquakes. Yeah, very good. So, let's proceed. Okay, so now let us perform this activity. So I had prepared a video for your guidance now on how to make a fault model. Okay, so uh, you can download the soft copy of this one, or I will give you the soft copy of the fault model later on. So let's try to make a fault model for you to get more idea of what focus and epicenter are. Okay. Yes. Okay, so what do you call the point inside the fault with dot mark? And how about the point above the dot mark below? So what do you call it? And how will you differentiate the 2 points in the model? So later on, as we go along with our discussion, so you will know what are those points. So that is now our fault model. So later I will discuss that, the movements of the different movements of the fault. Okay. So now let's proceed. Now, so let us see if you can easily identify the labeled parts of the drawing in our or in this activity. So as you can see in our screen, there is alam nyo guys, ako yung nag-drawing yan. Pasensya na, no? So, di ba ang cute naman? Okay, so by the way, you are going to identify no those dots or just like this one, the letter A, B, and letter C. So what are those dots or that line represents for? Okay, so now let's proceed. Okay guys, so what is being represented by point A? Okay, nandyan na yung answer. So if you answer epicenter, no, you are right. So where can you find the epicenter? Okay, na. So epicenter is the point on the Earth's surface. Earth's surface siya, guys. Take note with that. Vertically above the, ano yung tawag nyo dito? Ano yung tawag nyo sa letter B? Ano naman ang letter B? Na? So, vertical kasi sila eh. Na? Ito yung epicenter natin. Oh. At ito yung, ano to? What's your answer? Yan ay? Okay, very good. That is focus. So the epicenter is the point on the Earth's surface vertically above the focus of an earthquake. Okay? So, earthquake always starts at what point? Yes, no, in this point, this letter B, na focus. No? Point B is also known as hypocenter. Kung meron tayong epicenter, meron ding hypocenter. So, what is a focus or hypocenter? Yes, this is the site where the rocks break or where earthquake started. So, take note with that guys ha. Dito nagsisimula yung earthquake or ang pagyanig sa focus or sa hypocenter. So, wag kayong what do you call this? Do not be confused of the epicenter and the focus. Kasi yung focus ay nasa ibaba, hypo, no? Hypocenter. At saka yung epicenter ay nasa itaas. Okay? Next. And what is being represented by point C? Do you have any idea? Okay. So, if you answer, okay, bakit ayaw nang mag-next? Okay, so ayan na guys. So, nag-next na siya. Okay, so now we are in point C. So what is being represented by point C? What's your answer? Okay, that is fault. Na? So aside from plate boundaries, earthquakes are also generated from this zone with weak rocks known as faults. So these are cracks or breaks in the Earth's surface. So we have two types of faults, the active faults and the inactive faults. So what is active faults? So active faults create earthquakes once moved. And the following are the different category of faults depending on the displacement orientation. Let's put it in another way. So, as we all know that active fault is one that has moved in the past and is expected to move again. So, meaning to say, may nakaraan na. Char. May nakaraan. Okay. So, active fault, meaning to say, may record na siya of movement and then, expected pa natin na gagalaw din siyang muli. No? So an active fault has generated earthquakes before and is capable of causing more in the future. So scientists use different ways to find out if a fault is active. So first, we have number one, checking the country's historical records. So historians always write about destructive events such as earthquakes. Second is by studying the vibrations, past, present, and future that come from faults. And number three, by observing the surroundings. So, for example, uh, a fault may cross a road, and because of that, the road is displaced. Okay? So, marami pa yung example. Just like, for example, na yung bahay natin, na if you build a house near a fault, no? Meaning to say, may tendency na pag gumalaw yung fault, na, there will be a possibility that your house will have a break or will have a damages in the future. Okay? But of course, scientists need a lot of training to do that. So, guys, it is very important to know the location of active faults. So, as far as possible, no important structures should be built near or on them. Okay? Next tayo. Okay, so since we all know what is a fault and what are the two types of fault, anong uri ng fault na? We have active fault and the inactive fault. So, this time, we are going to know, no, on how faults move. So, active fault yung tinutukoy ko dito. Kasi may ano pa siya. We are going to expect na movement pa for active fault. So, alam natin na kapag yung fault ay gagalaw, so therefore, an earthquake is formed. So, I had prepared a video for you to find out now how faults move. And we are going to also identify what are the different movement or the different types of that active fault. Okay? So, here we are. So, anong klaseng fault yan? Okay. So, first we have a deep slip fault. Ano ba yung deep slip fault? Okay. So, deep slip fault is the movement of fault or the movement is up or down and parallel to the dip of the inclined fault surface. Okay. So, continue. Okay, so by the way, meron tayong, sa fault natin guys, meron tayong footwall and we have a hanging wall. So, hanging wall natin ay nasa right side at saka yung footwall natin ay nasa left side. So, there are two types of deep slip fault. Ano ba yun? If you could remember in our first lesson, the two types of deep slip fault. Okay, very good. So, those are the normal and the reverse deep slip fault. So, they can be distinguished depending on the movement of the footwall and the hanging wall. So, pag sinabi nating normal deep slip fault, ano yun? Okay. So, try to take a look at the video. So, anong klaseng deep slip fault yan? Okay. So, that is a reverse deep slip fault. So, sa reverse, yung footwall ay nasa ibaba at yung hanging wall ay nasa taas. Okay, the footwall is moving down and the hanging wall is moving up. That is a reverse dip slip fault. How about the normal dip slip fault? Okay, so normal, yung footwall ay nasa itaas at saka yung hanging wall ay nasa ibaba. Reverse. Reverse lang guys. Normal and reverse. So, take note with that. Again, normal, no? The foot wall is nasa uh, taas. At saka yung hanging wall ay nasa ibaba. Okay? Yung reverse naman, no? Reverse naman is yung foot wall ay nasa ibaba at saka yung hanging wall ay nasa taas naman. Yun ang tinatawag natin na reverse. Okay? So, do not forget that. So, two types of dip slip fault. We have the normal and the reverse. Okay? So, gets na? Okay, let's proceed. Okay, guys. So, here. So, next type of active fault is what you call the, ano to? Okay. It is the strike slip fault. And what is a strike slip fault? Okay, so strike slip fault is the movement or the movement of the blocks or the movement of the fault is horizontal and parallel to the strike of the fault. Okay, so take note that the fault block may laterally move to left or to right with respect to the opposite block. Okay, so just like dip slip fault, it has two types. The strike slip fault also has two types. And what are those? So if you could still remember in our previous lesson, it has two types of strike slip fault. The left lateral strike slip fault and the right lateral slip or strike slip fault. Okay? So, left lateral is also known as sinestral. Sinestral strike slip fault. And yung right naman is dextral. No, dextral, right. Okay? Sinestral and dextral. Sin left and dex for right. Okay, so how are you going to distinguish the difference between the sinestral and the dextral strike slip fault? Okay, so if you were to stand on the fault, okay, so just like for example, ito yung fault natin, tingnan nyo sa video. If you are going to stand that on the fault and look along its length, if the left block moves toward you and the right block moves away, take note. Again, if the left block moves toward you and the right block moves away, what do you call that? That is sinestral or left lateral strike slip fault. And how about if the right block moves toward you and the left block moves away? Okay, that is what you call the right lateral strike slip fault. Okay? So again, pag yung right is moving toward you, that is right lateral. Pag ang left block yung moving towards you, yes, that is left lateral. Okay? So, know now the difference between the left lateral and the right lateral? Okay. So, very good. So, now let's proceed. Okay, guys. So, this is now the last type of active fault. Okay. So, if meron na tayong dip slip fault at saka strike slip fault, so the last one is Ano to? Yan. That is an oblique slip fault. What is oblique? Oblique slip fault. Okay. So, pag sinabi natin oblique slip fault, so it has both the strike slip and the dip slip movements. So, yan. Tingnan nyo yung video. So, yung oblique slip fault, again, it has both the strike slip and the dip slip movement. Okay? So, napaka-easy lang, guys. So, wag niyong kalimutan yon. So, don't forget about the different types of active faults. Okay? So, if you have some questions, so do not forget to write it in our comment box. Okay, now, so tapos na tayo sa pag-identify natin ng what is fault, now what are the two types of faults, and what are the different movements of the fault. So let's proceed now. Now, if there is an earthquake that happened, usually we can hear the words magnitude and intensity, right? So if you are listening to the news, for example, those are the words usually you can hear. But do you know what are those words means? What is magnitude and what is intensity? Okay, so well, let us know. So those two words are the ways used to describe an earthquake. So ano ba yung magnitude? Magnitude is, or it refers to how strong the energy is being released by an earthquake. And the damages it created is determined by its intensity. Okay, so for example, naramdaman mo talaga yung pagyanig at nakita mo talagang gumagalaw yung tubig sa baso, no? Yun ay tinatawag natin na magnitude. Kasi, no, how strong the energy is being released by an earthquake. So, nakita mo yung baso na gumagalaw. Okay, but if you could say that, naku, no, napakalakas talaga ng lindol kasi maraming bahay, buildings, no, yung nasira sa lugar namin, no. Siguro mga intensity ano yun. Yan. Pag nakita mo na maraming damages na yung iniwan ng lindol, so that is intensity. Okay? So another one is intensity gives us also an idea of how strong or weak the shaking of an earthquake. So those are the difference between magnitude and intensity. Okay? So now you know. Let's proceed. Okay, now, so since we all know what is the difference between magnitude and the intensity, so let's proceed now. Okay, so as you can see, now here in the picture we have, yes, what do you call with that machine? That is a seismometer. So as we all know that magnitude of the earthquake refers to the energy released and it's shaking the ground at its focus, and the magnitude is um, measured by a Richter scale. Now, if you could still remember in our previous discussion, so magnitude measured by a Richter scale. Pero ano ba yung ginagamit ng mga scientist na para determine ng ng earthquake? So seismometer. So this is an additional information for you guys. Seismometer is an instrument that responds to the ground motion such as caused by earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and explosions. So seismometers are usually combined with a timing device and a recording device to form a seismograph. Okay? Next. So again, magnitude is measured by a Richter scale as magnitude 8. So as you can see in the slide na meron tayong magnitude 8. Okay? So ito yung tinatawag natin na Richter scale. Okay? So the magnitude of the earthquake is measured by a Richter scale. So if uh, for example, na may balita na there is an earthquake with a magnitude of 7.8. So meaning to say, pag 7.8, that is strong. No? So next slide makikita natin kung ano yung mararamdaman natin kapag nasa magnitude 7 or nasa magnitude 8 na tayo. Okay, so in magnitude 1, uh, hindi pa natin mararamdaman yon. Magnitude 1, not felt. Magnitude 2, 3, and 4, that is minor. Magnitude 5, small. 6, moderate. 7 is strong. And 8 is major na shaking. Okay, so next. So here is the intensity. So intensity is measured by Mercalli scale. Okay, so as we all know that intensity is the amount of energy of damages na na uh, if you could still remember, baka nakalimutan na agad. Okay, so it is measured by Mercalli scale. Yung magnitude ay measured by what? Measured by Richter scale. Okay. Yung intensity naman ay Mercalli scale. So, ito yung makikita natin, guys. So, eh, if intensity 1 pa lang, instrumental, not felt by many people unless in favorable conditions. Intensity 2, weak. Intensity 3, slight. So, felt quiet noticeably by people indoors, especially on the upper floors of buildings. Okay. So, next is intensity 4 is moderate. Felt indoors by many people, outdoors by a few people during the day, at night some awaken. Intensity 5 naman is rather strong. Felt outside by most and may not be felt by some people in non-favorable conditions. So it could be dishes and windows may break and large bells will ring. Vibrations like train passing close to house. Okay? So sa intensity 5, mararamdaman mo na talaga yung pagyanig, no? Shaking of the ground. So, as I remember, nung nag-volunteer teacher pa ako dun sa Escalante, 2012, that, I think that was intensity 5, no? Strong na siya, no? Yung alam nyo, yung sinabi nila na katapusan na talaga ng mundo. Katapusan na daw ng mundo yung year 2012. Okay. So, yun, syempre, no, yung kaba nandyan, no, kapag nararamdaman mo talaga yung tinatawag natin na pagyanig ng mundo. Okay, next. Intensity 7, very strong. Intensity 8, destructive. Down to intensity 12, which is cataclysmic. So, kapag maramdaman nyo na, kapag nag-intensity 12 na siguro ito na yung talagang katapusan ng mundo. Okay? So, yan. Okay, so we are through with our week 2 na. Okay, so earthquakes and tsunamis. So, this will be discussed next meeting, guys. So I think that's the end of our lesson for today. So we are going to talk next meeting now on earthquakes and tsunamis. Okay, so we will know what are their relationship. No, what is the connection of earthquakes and tsunamis? Okay, so that's all for today. So I hope that you learned something from this video. So thank you for listening